You know, sometimes you hear a story that it completely changes how you think about starting over. Today, we're talking about a man who found a brand new life, not in his 20s, not in his 30s, but in his 80s, after everything had fallen apart. It's an incredible story.
And this quote right here, it's really the heart of it all. This wasn't about breaking records or getting famous. It was just about finding a reason to get up in the morning when it felt like all the reasons were gone. It was a choice to move.
So to really understand how incredible his later life was, you have to see the life he lived before. For 80 years, his world was a million miles away from any starting line. Just try to picture that for a second. A life tied to the land, to the rhythm of the seasons. He was a husband, a dad, a farmer. His whole world was that village, his family, and his work. It was simple, it was steady, and it was complete.
And then, just like that, his entire world came crashing down. This next chapter of his life was marked by one devastating loss after another.
The person he'd spent his whole life with, she was gone. The very foundation of his world was cracked. And before he could even begin to heal from that, another tragedy. The grief was just immense, piling on top of itself until it must have felt impossible to breathe. So he leaves the only home he's ever known, hoping to find some comfort with his other children. But instead, he finds himself in this huge, strange city, completely isolated. He couldn't speak the language, he was just lost in his own grief. He had no past to hold on to, and absolutely no future to look forward to.
But it's funny how sometimes, in our absolute lowest moments, the tiniest little spark can appear. It wasn't some grand plan, it was just a quiet, ordinary moment that would change literally everything.
So there he is, just flipping through channels. And on the screen are thousands and thousands of people, running. Not because they're being chased, not for work, just running. For mile after mile. And this right here, this is the turning point. What's so amazing is how pure his curiosity was. He had zero context for this. Why on earth would anyone choose to do that? And that simple question, why, it was enough to break through the fog of grief. It was the first time he'd looked outside of his own pain in years. So that little flicker of an idea, it starts this journey that, honestly, sounds completely impossible. This is where he takes that curiosity and turns it into action. Just let that sink in for a minute. 89. And an age where most of us would be, slowing down and looking back, Fauja Singh decided to start a whole new life. He didn't just want to watch people run, he wanted to do it.
And here's what's so important to understand. It wasn't just about putting one foot in front of the other. It was about finding people again. He found a coach, he found a running group, he found a community. The running gave him a routine, a purpose, and a way to physically work through all that emotional pain he was carrying. Every step forward was a step through the grief, not just away from it.
And this quote, wow, this just says it all, doesn't it? Running stopped being a distraction, and it became something else entirely. It was his meditation. It was his prayer. It was his way of making peace with everything he'd lost.
So what starts as this coping mechanism, it actually blossoms into something so much more. What began as a way to deal with his past completely redefined his future.
And what's so wild is that his story, as personal and unique as it is, perfectly illustrates this bigger concept. This idea that our greatest passions and talents don't always show up when we're young.
There's a name for this, actually. They call it being a late bloomer. And it's not about being behind. It's just about having your own timeline. It's about finding what you're meant to do at your own pace, sometimes after a whole lot of searching, or in his case, after overcoming immense hardship. And that kind of journey, it builds these incredible strengths that you just can't learn any other way. Look at this list. Deep resilience, a unique perspective on life, persistence. It's like you're reading a description of Fauja Singh himself.
The contrast is it's breathtaking. Think about where he started, crushed by the past, completely overwhelmed by grief, and where he ended up, saying that when you get old, you become young again. He found a second youth, a new purpose, a new joy, all because he was brave enough to take that first step.
Fauja Singh's story is more than just inspiring. It really challenges a core belief that a lot of us have, that our time for big changes is over. His life is proof that maybe, just maybe, our best chapters aren't behind us. Maybe they're just waiting for us to find them.
It leaves you with a really powerful question to ask yourself.